All right. Hello. It's Damon. I am recording this video for a couple of reasons. The first one is to get a little bit of practice on doing email teardowns in a video format. Number two, I'm doing it with the intentions of trying to help my friend, Drew Gerton, whose brand just launched a 10 email campaign to try to generate some revenue. And three, to potentially repurpose as content that I can share on various platforms. So if you're seeing this on like YouTube or some social network, congratulations to me. I made it to step three, but the first two are my priorities here. So without further ado, I'm going to review one email that is part of this sequence that Drew sent out, and this is for his brand, Pendulum Fitness, which is a fitness box. I want to say he probably will hate that I call it a group fitness type box. It's a former CrossFit box, so there's a absolutely group training aspect to it. And they've got this campaign running, and I promised him that I would help him with strategy, and so he sent me one of the emails that they've created. And I'm going to dig in, and you let me know if I'm being too much of a jerk here, but my goal is to be helpful. All right. So the first thing that I'm looking at is the way the email appears in my inbox. Now, I don't have that up here on the screen for a lot of reasons. Instead, what I have is a view of some emails that went out recently from a client of mine that I know are leveraging the subject line and preview line the way that you want to when you're going to bother to create an email that's intended to generate behavior from the recipient. So you'll want to think of your subject line like the headline of a newspaper article or like the headline of a blog. And the basic school is this. The purpose of a subject line, the purpose of a headline is singular, and that is to generate enough interest to engage somebody to either read the article or read the blog or open the email. If it doesn't serve that singular goal, then it is missing the very first hurdle. Now with email, and to a certain extent with journalism you have this as well, but with email you get a second chance to really bring it home, and that's the preview text that appears. It is one of the most underutilized facets of email marketing. It is one of the first things I'm able to fix with a lot of campaigns out there. And this is what I'm going to allude to right now. So you'll see in this example up here that I'm kind of mousing on from Zavco. The subject is not awesome, but it's giving me an indication, and I know because I know the users of this product that they'll know exactly what's being indicated by Harlequin is in a house. It's a reference to a product. It means that Zavco is carrying the Harlequin Funko Pop that these recipients want to receive. And then the 1-2 punch, the second part of it's the preview text. It says 21% off while supplies last. And you'll frequently see in your inbox that the first thing you see after the headline is something like open in browser or some kind of code or maybe a dear so-and-so. It generally doesn't add anything more to the question of what's this email going to tell me? And it's a missed opportunity. It's a huge missed opportunity. This is the only chance you're going to get, other than maybe the from or the brand reputation, that you're going to get to really convince somebody to open the email. If you miss on this point, all of your work, everything you put into creating the email is wasted because it's ignorable. There's a caveat to this, and a lot of marketers don't use this, but I do, and that's this. If you lie or misrepresent the contents of the email in order to simply serve the first goal, now you're undermining your integrity. This can ultimately have damaging effects to your brand, and if you're a shady marketer, maybe you don't care. Maybe all you want to get is an open. So within the framework of being honest, but giving me something tantalizing about, I need to open this email and find out more about it. If you trick me though, and I open it and I feel like I've been tricked, I'm going to stop trusting you and I'm going to stop opening your email. So you have to be honest, but enticing. So it's a bit of a fine line, but if you don't toe that line, you're falling off of it. I don't know. I just made up that metaphor on the fly. I don't know if you're really falling off of it. All right, let's get into the email. So here we've got on the right side of my screen the actual email itself. And it looks like, so this is a MailChimp-based email. It looks like this header is trying to be the preview text, and I'm not sure what happened. Even if it were actually functioning code-wise as preview text, which it didn't in my inbox, it's too long. There's too many characters there to actually be able to see it. Your characters can be truncated. It's okay if your preview is too long. Even okay sometimes if your subject's a little bit too long, so long as the meat of it is on the front end. And if it's truncated in such a way that I'm like, oh gosh, I need to know what the rest of this subject line or preview text says. But in this case, this is just sort of a small header at the top of this email, and I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but in any event, as far as what it seems to be trying to do is sort of set up the pitch for this email, which is fine. I think it could have been a little bigger than in that case if it was going to try to do that. Be more of like an H1 or an H2, but as far as enticing me, the copy's fine. I kind of skip it as a user. I don't know what that is. It almost looks like a mistake. So we've got a nice hero image here. This is a great hero image for this brand, right? This is really indicative of what one feels when they go into Pendulum Fitness, and I can speak from experience. It's a great communal environment. It's an educational environment. They really value not just their members, but teaching their members how to lift in a way that their technique doesn't ultimately hurt them. So their goal isn't just to sell access to their facility. They want their members to continue to be monthly recurring revenue, right? If they get injured, they don't come back, and then they're kind of damaging. They go out and saying bad things. So I think this hero image captures a lot of that for me. Plus, you can see the look and feel of the brand, which is the color choices that Pendulum has chosen, and then that carries through here to the Coaching Matters, and then the subtitle, Why a Coach is the Second Ingredient to Results. Now that right there, that header could have replaced this little mess at the top. That told me everything in fewer words with better word economy, and nice and tight, hero image, and that I may have actually switched those two. I may have put the hero image after, but splitting hairs is not a big deal. So the first thing you'll see when you get into the body of this email is it's a wall of text, which is telling you a couple things. One, the sender, Drew, had a lot of information he wanted to convey in this. The downside is, as a recipient, we see this wall of text, and a lot of us kind of just were a little bit overwhelmed by, oh my gosh, I can't read all that. There's a little trick that gets used that works really well in a situation like this, and this is line spacing. Massively. So the general rule of thumb that I use is any text that exceeds or gets even like 2.5 lines, 3 full lines, that's it. I need to find a break. I take wherever the last punctuation is, period or whatever, or if I have to take an extra long sentence and break it up into a couple, I really only want about 2, max 3 lines, and then I want to space. I'm going to break that text up. You could even double space. Don't worry about making your recipients have to use the scroll feature to scroll on your email. That's great. The more they're having to take action and engage with that email, they're moving down the page, they get a momentum, they're getting involved with it. When they have a static email sitting there staring back at them, now their hands off the mouse, it's off the trackpad, and a lot of them, frankly, and I'm sorry, but they're just not going to read that. They're going to catch the bold-faced pieces, which is great. I love the fact that some of this has been bold-faced, and I love that it's been bullet pointed, so I know that there's a list here that I want to pay attention. But we could have made it a little bit easier on the reader's eyes by breaking that up with some spacing. The copy is great. I love the digs on big corporate fitness, just from a personal experience. And then it gets me down to another set of bullet points and talking about what's going to be included with this challenge that he's proposing here that I get involved with. Again, no huge problems with that. This is nice. We are only letting 20 people in this program. Do not wait. I would have made that bigger. Right. So as a recipient, I've got fear of loss. There's something really important in that. But pulling out some of those pieces, like the 20 people in this program, I would back up here just to kind of clean up some of my comments around this. I wouldn't just do it with the spacing. I would actually take these lines, infuse with what to do. You could actually even make that bigger, make it like an H2, so it really stands out. What you're going for is you can break up all of the text with a ton of spacing, you're still going to get people that are going to skim. So once you have it all broken up, what starts to stand out for you is what's the important parts of this, that if somebody's still a skimmer, and a lot of people still are a skimmer, what can they just go, got it, got it, got it, I got the main points of it, and I can go back and read the details if it interests me later. And then we end on action, sign up now. It's super clear. I like that it matches their colors. I have no problem reading it. There's no funky font, no weird, it's like really obvious. This is what I want to click on, and then it takes me to the sign up page. A couple things that happened after that I would avoid. So Pendulum just launched a new podcast recently. I think it was like 2 months ago. And by the way, if you get a chance, it's a great podcast. You can check it out. But the purpose of this email is to get people involved with a challenge. And so as a user, after I hit that CTA and that button, now I'm not sure what you want me to do on this email. Do you want me to check out the podcast, or do you want me to sign up for the challenge? To that point, I know it's very popular, and guilty as charged myself. Up until recently, of putting social media icons on there. Again, do you want me to follow you on social, or do you want me to join you on the challenge? So end on that strong CTA. It's a beautiful and great finale to this email. Everything from the subject line to the button is guiding me towards this one action. If you want to send an email out about promoting your podcast, make it a separate email all by itself, unrelated to this campaign. And the same thing with social. Get people involved with your social media early on in your welcome sequence, and then drop it. If you want to revisit it at a later time, again, make it a separate email about social. Hey, we're trying to get people involved with our social media platforms. There's some things that are going on there you might want to know about. Do that. Otherwise, boom, hit that CTA. You've got to have this legal reason, so that is always going to be at the bottom of your email. But end on that strong CTA, and be done with it. Take it or leave it. The next one that talks loses, just like in a sales presentation. Otherwise, I'm so excited about this email. I love Drew's just natural style of writing, and it shows that he cares about his business. I also love the fact that as a business operator, he writes his own emails. Now, I'll write your emails for you all day long, but you're the strongest one to capture the voice of your emails. So I'm always going to encourage business owners, business operators to try their best, to try their hand at it, even if it means they need to bring somebody in who can do some copy editing for them. You know your voice. You have your voice. And if you don't, it's great that you know that limitation and you can bring somebody in who can create that voice for you. So great work, Drew. I love it.